Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Ankit Ratan, co-founder of Signzy, a digital trust system. Ankit is a serial entrepreneur and a graduate of IIT Delhi. Ankit was featured in Forbes 30 under 30 along with his co-founders back in 2017. Hi Ankit, welcome to ELI.
Yeah, hi Priyanjan, and thank you for having me in Eli, and being on a Saturday afternoon accommodating me.
Ankit, I would request you to start by introducing yourself to our audience, please.
Okay, yeah, so I think you gave a brief intro about me. So yes, I passed out of IIT Delhi in 2011, and then I joined a job just after college, which was into data analytics. After 2 years in that job, I kind of realized that somehow uh, job which was like any other corporate job was not fit for me, and while I had not finalized that I wanted to be an entrepreneur or run a business, but at least I wanted to experiment and see if I like it. And also other things, right? Like even other things like IAS and everything, I wanted to kind of see whether, I mean, it will make sense for me, but I was 100% sure that a corporate job will not make sense for me. So I think in 2013, four of us from there kind of started a company called Crosslink in 2013, like 2 years roughly after me joining, and that is how I first got exposed to my first experience in entrepreneurship. And we ran that company for 2 years. I think also actually, in fact, I think the company ran for more years. I kind of moved out of after 2 years. In that 2 years frame, I think we did well. We were able to get some of the top customers in India, like Axis, Benetton, Maersk as customers, and we had a decent revenue. We were on track, but I think there were certain challenges in the product. I think we were not being able to scale as a product. We were becoming very much more like IT services business than product business, and hence I felt that that was not the right fit for me, or I would not enjoy it as much as creating a product based business. And that is why I kind of started looking out for other opportunities where I could do product based business in some ways. And that is how Signzy came about. My brother and I, who were the, let's say, the first two founders, and then Ankuru joined us. We used to kind of discuss about uh, compliance, risk, and legal being a huge pain in India, at least. And it was taking too much time from founders and from people in the industry without giving them any value. And that is how we came across Signzy. We said, technology today can solve almost everything, and you have accounting, which is technology based. You have marketing, which is technology based. Why is legal and compliance still so poor in terms of technology? And that is how we started building Signzy. In fact, our first tagline of Signzy was "Signing made easy," and hence the name is Signzy. Uh, so that is how we started, and of course today we target a very different customer audience, which is large financial services enterprises like banks. But at our core, I think what we have always wanted to do is solve the compliance, legal and compliance issues for an organization which are not core to their business, and let them focus on their core business.
Okay, interesting. Ankit, now is my next question. Uh,
Yeah.
Tell us in a very layman's language, what is the problem statement you are solving through your venture?
Yeah, I think the problem we are solving is that in financial services, there is this interesting anomaly that when you actually order something on Amazon, the product is actually physical. It's transported to you in a physical truck. Still, the experience of Amazon to you as a consumer is that everything is digital and it's such a good digital experience. Versus a financial services, a bank, the product is actually totally digital. I mean, money is a theoretical concept, so it's digital by definition. And you can transfer money from one person to another completely digitally in most geographies, not only in India. Still, your experience with the bank, financial services, there's so much hassle. You don't feel that you're working with a digital company like Netflix or Amazon. You kind of feel that I'm not, have this huge challenge. Why is this anomaly? So the anomaly is not just because there is great UI UX by Amazon. In fact, if you think about it, Amazon probably doesn't have the best UI UX actually. Their website actually may not be that good. The reason is because when you order a coffee mug, within 5 minutes, you know that it will reach your doorstep on Thursday between 9 and 11 a.m. And if you think of how this would have happened without, let's say, Amazon, somebody, let's say, you would have placed an order, that organization would have said, let me check to my local go down. If it is there, I will give it to you. If it's not there, I will give it to you today. If it's not there, I will check state go down. Then he will check state go down. After 1 hour, he'll call you and say, no, actually it was not there in state go down. So it will be in central go down, but I can't tell you because there are so many reasons why it doesn't come. Imagine Amazon doesn't do that, right? It exactly tells you when it's coming because it has automated all of these operations. And that is what Signzy is doing for financial services. It is automating their operational decision making so that when you interact with a financial services organization, you feel it is as digital as Amazon and Netflix. When you order a product, when you choose a product, within seconds, within minutes, you get an answer that yes, you have got this product, and more like Amazon. And the reason we are able to do it is because our core AI engine is able to understand documents, read documents, understand what is fraud, what is not fraud, take the decision that human chains would have taken, and rather than going into a operations manual process, the answer is in a way decided by a AI engine, risk engine, and which hence allows you to get a product within minutes and not days and weeks.
Okay. Ankit, the industry we're operating in, it's targeting the core banking segment, and the industry is very much regulated as well as a lot of internal complications are there. Having said that, I would like to know how did you start getting customers? How did you get your first customer? In fact.
Yeah, I think getting a first customer, I think, is of course the hardest. Um, I think I will tell about both startups. Like my first startup, our first customer was basically someone we knew. He really knew us well, so he trusted us at a personal level, and then he trusted us to do a good job without having ever seen the product or any other customer having used our product. In Signzy, I think the first customer was very similar, but that was not the use case we scaled. The first bank that we were able to get, I think we got because in 2016 mid, we had got an award from RBI. That award in some ways, made banks feel there is some sense of, you can say, value in the product, some sense of validation of the product, and which allowed us to get our first customer. So, I mean, for the audience, especially, I think getting a first customer, there is no specific science or reason. I think it will come due to luck. Like for example, this RBI award, it's like a good luck that we got an award, or some personal person who trusts you personally.
Okay, Ankit, I was going through your website. I saw the feature of RBI awards. I'm curious to know what was it that helped you to get this award? What was different about your product? Is it a totally new concept, or were there any competitors in the industry, or how was it?
Yeah, I think when we presented, I think for the regulator and the banks who were there in that room, and there were of course who's who of banking, like the largest private banks, largest public sector banks. I think at least from that view, I think we had uh, everyone in banking in that room, and for them it was a new concept, or at least it was something that they may have been thinking but they never had visualized. And even when we won the award, lot of bankers told the judges that, while you've given them the award, but this is too futuristic and it's not practical to apply it today. And the product was basically video KYC, which is, of course, now RBI has themselves come up with a regulation. Everyone is going live with it. So even at that time, I think that was our product, which kind of we showed to RBI, and that was something at that stage a lot of people felt was futuristic. Today, of course, it has become real, and it is being used by any and every organization.
Okay. Ankit, here I'll come to some of the theoretical questions that the industry is revolving around. First question is, what so many things are happening in the financial industry, the fintech industry. Open banks are coming up, and then there is blockchain, and finally there are platforms like Cred, which are totally new concepts. So, would like to hear your thoughts on what are the next few things that we are gonna see in next 5 to 10 years, and which of the existing trends are growing so fast that that will become mainstream in next 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, so of course I may be 100% wrong on most of the things I say, but I mean, my view is based on whatever I've gathered. So I think one thing to understand, at least, like, so you said two, three different things. So one you said neobank, the second you said blockchain, and the third you said credit, right? Which is a different model. So I think let's address blockchain first. So I think on blockchain, I think the world has kind of, got to a decision. I think that decision is that there is value in decentralized networks, whether it can be because you want to be outside the system or you want to have something very much efficient, less regulated outside the system. For whatever reason, there is some value in decentralized finance, but the value of blockchain to a traditional organization, to a bank internally, has not been validated. I don't know of a single organization across the world that's using blockchain internally to bring efficiency. So I think in some ways we can kind of conclude that decentralized finance, like Bitcoin, is a great example of decentralized finance, and there are other examples also evolving. I think blockchain as a way of decentralized finance is well established, is growing, and will continue to grow. Blockchain as a way to bring efficiency within an organization is still very, very questionable. Still, enough validations have not happened across the world. Uh, on neobank, I think uh, if you look at banking, right? Unlike Amazon, see, Amazon, there was a problem. I wanted something which was, let's say, I'll have to go to the market, bring it home, and e-commerce kind of solved it, that sitting at home you can get this product and also get many products at the same place. So on neobank, I at least personally struggle in defining what the problem they're solving. Um, because if you are saying my problem I'm solving is that, my HDFC bank actually gives me a horrible experience, and the call center makes me wait 10 minutes before I can get a guy. I mean, sure, I mean that is a problem, but I don't understand why it is a banking problem per se, right? I may face the same issue with ONGC. So I am at least not clear even today that what, at least in India, what is the problem, new bank as a category solve, which the banks are not solving. Like e-commerce was doing something different. I'm not clear what neo banking is doing different. Of course, there can be new banks, right? Like for example, Kotak, 2000, like within 20 years, it has become one of the top four banks. RBL, IDFC, all of them are trying to become genuinely good large banks. So I'm not clear. Maybe the category name of neobank is misplaced. Maybe it needs to be a better category, but at least I am not clear what problem are they truly solving, and at least I have not hence built any whether pro or con on the sector industry. Cred I think is interesting. I think cred is uh, maybe it's not solving a problem, but uh, it has a genuine user scenario, which is that people would want to make more points or would want to get more benefits for something they anyways were going to do. So which is not a painful problem scenario which needs to be solved, but it's definitely something which is a valid scenario. People would want to do it. I think the only challenge I would have with cred would be that how do they make money. And I think once that gets clarified, because the beauty or the pain of financial services is that you need to be of the lending side of financial services is that you need to be right 98% of the times to make money. And so a lot of people focus from coming from consumer tech focus on UI and UX, which is great, but I think they have to also keep in mind that eventually you will need to build a business which can be right 98% of the times when giving out a loan, which I feel a lot of these models will need to, that reality check will need to come.
Okay. Ankit, I'll dive deep into the popular topic, blockchain. Um,
Yeah.
so, uh, if you think or if you observe close enough, you'll see that blockchain was there. It's not a new concept. In fact, most of the banks are already doing the blockchain techniques. Uh, in fact, blockchain is everywhere. You go to you apply for a new job opportunity, your employer verifies your past employment credentials. You have all sort of footprints left all over the place, and that is blockchain. um, what I'm curious to know about is it people are people rallying for blockchain, or is it they want a free market or free system that is not manipulated by anyone, for example entities like RBI or Fed? uh, if that is the case, then what is the world we are moving into if there are no regulators in place for money? What kind of world we are getting into, and how soon can we see a different world?
Yeah, no, I think the point you're making is correct. That I mean, whatever you're trying to say will get solved by blockchain is already being solved. So the point you made is correct that people are already doing most of these things. So why should you apply blockchain, or why should you apply something new? Let's not call it blockchain for a second. Why should you apply something new to solve a problem that's already being solved? Unless you can tell me that I am solving the problem better or I am solving a problem which is unsolved. So I 100% agree there that saying that I will use blockchain is meaningless. You need to say that this is a solution and which internally is using blockchain. So that part I completely agree that till some of these products don't stop saying blockchain. So I think when blockchain will get successful is when you stop using the term. So like Bitcoin, right? It inherently uses blockchain, but I talk about Bitcoin as a currency or investor, and hence it makes sense, right? Because you're no longer talking about the technology. So that part I completely agree with you. On the second part about where you say regulator less finance, right? So I think yes, I think see if it's about regulated finance, right? If it is about regulated finance, then it means, as you correctly said, that the current system is equivalent to blockchain because there is a regulator, there is a NPCI network. I can transfer money digitally to one person to another. There is one validator in some ways, which is NPCI, which is validating all the ledger. So, and it's a trusted ledger like NPCI is the equivalent of, let's say, multiple nodes. You have maybe single node, but he's a trusted party. So in some ways, the problem that, uh, let's say a blockchain infra was going to solve is solved. The only problem that is not solved is you still have a centralized regulator or centralized validator. So I think you're right. Like, I think I personally feel if I have to bet on it, I would only bet on blockchain use cases which are for decentralized finance, because there I think it makes sense. In centralized finance, I don't really understand what other problem is blockchain solving which is not solved, as you correctly said. And
And
hence, yes, I think crypto enthusiasts are also at the same time asking for a regulator less world. That I think that is the ask, whether they're saying it or not saying it, that is what they're demanding.
what can be the implications? The way I see it, world is anyway moving towards blockchain. Every day, more and more people are buying bit currency or any other blockchain currencies. So, what can be the implication if we don't have a regulator, we don't have Fed, or we don't have RBI? What can be the implications?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question. I think enough people have. So I think the first question is that eventually the regulator, like RBI, right? RBI or Fed, eventually what is their biggest power? Like a lot of people discuss money laundering, but I don't think that's the biggest power. I think the biggest power is currency. The ability to print currency or not print currency is the biggest power, far beyond all this talk about money laundering and keeping dirty money out. So even this talk of anti money laundering in some ways is not real, because I mean the only people you're not able to catch is small time drug traders or small time sex trafficking guys, but really large sums of money is anyways trafficked through the current system only. So I think I think the real reason why everyone fights crypto is not because of this money laundering angle. It's because of this absolute power of printing currency. If you take away that power from RBI, right? So if imagine that in India, currency is controlled by Bitcoin, right? In then there can be economy which is totally independent of RBI and hence independent of the sovereign government of that country.
Exactly.
So currency is not just a tool for RBI to regulate the market, it's a tool for the sovereign to regulate and control the economy, control the country, etc. So I think the real fight is about sovereignty, not money laundering, which is often people say dirty money will come in, all of that. I think that's not the real fight. I think the real fight is of sovereignty, of US dollar still being the reserve currency. If crypto comes in, that is up for grabs. So I think the fight is much bigger than this unregulated money laundering issue.
Okay. That brings me to a very interesting possibility. Will governments exist once Bitcoin is everywhere and everybody is using Bitcoin? Will there be any role of governments?
No, I see. I That is why I'm not. So I don't believe in the worldview where sovereign currency will be replaced by crypto. See, because sovereigns are. See, we are now post civilization, right? Civilizations have got created, and we are saying, okay, civilizations. There is this agreement, there is this law, etc., etc. But creation of nation is about power, right? About absolute power, and it has nothing to do with, I mean, finance. It has to do with wars, gunships, bullets. Who has. So I think crypto cannot overturn US, right? US is US because of the fact that they have the largest army in the world, and when they want and where they want, they can literally, you know, finish any country they want. And that is why they are powerful. The reason why that's not said, why it's not obvious, is because you're in post-civilized world where civilization is there, you feel there are agreements. But if it comes to it, the time when crypto truly threatens sovereign is when the sovereign will act as a nation with power and will crush it through absolute power. So I don't believe in this view of crypto will ever be able to challenge, because I think finance is post civilization concept. Like there is a civilization and now you have currency, etc., etc. So, but the civil creation of nations happens through violence. So I don't think crypto can end that, and but I do believe there will be two parallel worlds. So I think there will be a black market world and there will be a white market world, and which even is there today, right? Hawala and all. And the Hawala, I think, will get truly digitized using decentralized finance. So digitization of Hawala will happen. I think the sovereign will actually, in fact, create their own crypto, and sovereign's crypto will become, the white market crypto.
I think that is already happening with China testing their currency, and now even U.S. government is taking help from Facebook. I'm hearing that. Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make here, these are very interesting and deep concepts. And if anybody watching who wants to become a fintech entrepreneur needs to understand these concepts to the depth, unless they do it, they will not ace the industry. Moving on, we will now discuss about your journey as entrepreneur, and we are very short of time. I I'd like to start with how did you find your co-founders, and how did you all you know visualize the thing you are trying to build, and how did you come together to a conclusion that this is something we are gonna do.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the co-founders was my brother, so it was easy part. But I think we didn't start a company actually first. We were actually trying to do a side product. We were trying to say, can we build this? And if we build it on the side, we'll sell it to few companies, and if something goes, then we'll see. So it was like a side hustle with me and my brother, and that is how kind of we both started. When it got started getting real, and we said, okay, something can be done about this. We had some backers, some stuff like that. That is when we, kind of seek the third co-founder, Ankur, who had actually worked with me in previous company as intern, and we got him as CTO. So I think that is how we met, as the three co-founders, and even in my previous company, all four of us were working in the same company and were the best of friends in that company. So I think generally co-founder will always come from your network. I think very rare you get co-founders outside your network.
Okay, Ankit, tell us, uh, once you had found your co-founders, what are the things you did first? I mean, I'm trying to understand what is the chain of events that happens initially. Answer it in a very short way.
Yeah, I think, I mean, of course, basic, you form the company, you look for some funding to start off with. I think that first funding is very important because it lets you at least breathe, right? At least take an Uber versus taking a bus, stuff like that. So I think whenever you start, like, don't try and fall in this trap of raising money, but at least if you don't have money, try and raise enough to breathe. Don't run without breath, or I mean, you'll get tired very, very quickly.
Okay. What are the challenges you have faced so far while building and growing this venture?
Yeah, I think number one challenge, I think when you start, especially if like for almost a year, I think we were running bootstrap. So of course, one is life is really difficult, but more importantly, hiring talent is impossible. And so, I mean, you are getting interest, demand, but you can't execute because you don't have talent. So I think that was number one challenge. And as we started raising money, we did hire people, but we were working with very, very large enterprises. So they were used to working with like an Infosys of, there's a 15 people team just talking to this customer. And we were a total team of five across 4 5 customers. So I think enterprise software, I think, is even harder because of this nature that the customer wants intelligence. So I think the biggest challenge was trying to sell to these customers, and literally we sold them. I mean, basically you end up at their door 50 times, and 58 times they'll say, okay, fine. I mean, okay, let me just trust you because you have come to my door 50 times. So I think that thing you have to do. I mean, there's nothing cool about B2B startups in the first 3 years. You have to really, really, I mean, hustle your way inside.
What is your vision with this venture? Where you want to take it finally?
Yeah, I think we are solving an important problem for traditional financial services. And as they try and move from, let's say, being a bank to becoming more like consumer tech company, like a Facebook, I think they need to unlock a lot of things, especially on the tech infra side. So they need to completely change their current traditional product-based software, very traditional database software, to a core AI-enabled software, which like Facebook is, capturing data real time, giving recommendations real time. And this transition is not easy. It's not easy from a software point of view. It's not easy from people point of view. So I think, of course, people point of view we won't do, but I think the goal of Signzy is to help over that next 5-7 years banks to transition. And I think this is the second major wave after core banking changes in the 80s and the 90s. And we want to lead that wave from financial services point of view.
Okay. Ankit, this is my last question to you. Uh, Tell us who all are watching this video. Tell us how they can start their journey as entrepreneurs, how they can become founders or co-founders.
Yeah, I think number one is that you start, however small you start, but please start. And you don't need to leave your job. If you are in a job or if you're in college, you don't need to like quit college or leave a job. You can actually start on the side first, like do some MVP, do some side concept that you trust, get some learning on that. And but once you're ready, like don't wait for like getting a large great team in place or great funding in place. I think once you have done enough to kind of give yourself the confidence, then please start. Like there's no, if at all, treat it like 2 years of MBA that you would have paid, I mean, 60 lakhs to take do an MBA. Like think that you are just kind of doing that, but at much lesser price, and there is a possible outcome that you may own a billion-dollar, million-dollar company. So think of it like that. Like think of it like an experience, and don't fear the fact that it will fail. 95% of startups will fail. Founders who do not fail are lucky more than they are good, right? So it's luck more than capability that for the first time founder at least, which matters. So don't worry. Like failure is not a failure on you. It is more luck more than anything else. Which will cause your failure.
Okay. On that note, I'll have to close this session. There were multiple things, multiple questions coming to my mind, but unfortunately, we are up with time. I would like to thank you, Ankit, for taking out time and joining this session. It was a great pleasure to host you, and our best wishes to Signzy.
Yeah, thank you. Same here. Good, good to come and chat with you, and very interesting questions. So I truly also enjoyed the discussion.
Thank you. Viewers, you can follow and connect with Ankit on LinkedIn by searching for Ankit Ratan. Also, do visit their website on signzy.com. That is it for today's episode. We will be back with another exciting entrepreneur. Stay tuned to ELI.